It's me.
Hi.
Welcome to Susty in the City. And today we are talking about Taylor Swift, which is my dream, basically, talking about Taylor Swift for an hour. But we are making this a very good podcast for those who aren't even fans of Taylor Swift. So the first half, we're going to be talking about how important it is that celebrities embody your ethics, how much we care about that, and we'll be touching on other celebrities, but starting off with Taylor Swift and her private jets. And then in the second half, we're going to be going through our favourite Taylor Swift songs, our thoughts on Midnights, and I'm very excited for that as well. So today we have Becky back, Bottled Blue. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah.
A popular demand.
Yes.
Of one person.
That's a big demand, I'd say. No, there were quite a few people that really enjoyed our last episode.
Yeah, I got some nice comments and messages saying really enjoyed it, and I was honoured to be the first person on the podcast. So
Yes, and the first person to be a repeat guest.
Must have done well.
Yes, exactly. And plus, we've been sending a lot of voice notes about Taylor Swift lately, and I was like,
have.
you know what? This deserves to be published.
Yeah.
First things first, let's talk about Taylor Swift. I actually got so many DMs because I feel like I'm publicly a Swiftie.
You are.
Yeah, and I feel like you're a more closeted Swiftie.
It's true, yeah. I mean, historically, I've kind of kept it on the down low. I am one of those, I don't want to say fake fans, but like the whole kind of Reputation era. I kept it quiet. I didn't want to be like too obvious that I was a secret Swiftie. But I feel like you are very not ashamed at all, been a long time fan, and I respect that.
I did have a bit of a blip. I feel like when she wasn't on Spotify, it was a bit out of sight, out of mind. And then in the pandemic, I refound her and I was like, oh my God, I'm in love. She's great.
She is great.
Yes. But because I'm so public about it, when the news came out earlier this year about the private jets, and she is officially, according to one report, the worst for private jet usages out of any celebrity. Hers has been flown the most. Everyone was messaging me as a eco influencer being like, how do you feel about this? What are you going to do about it? It's like, well, I can't really do anything about it.
No.
But I was like, this deserves a conversation, and now we're finally here.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when you heard the news?
I mean, I wasn't shocked. I wasn't that surprised.
I was. Doesn't she seem like such a homebody? She wasn't touring or anything. She just feels like she's the sort of person that stays at home with her cats. What's she doing flying about?
This is the thing. Was it that she, of all time, she's had the most private jet usage, or was it just of that year?
Yeah, so I believe it's from the start of the year to when they took the data, which was around July. So it was about half a year's worth of data.
Oh, interesting.
Yes,
I didn't know.
Jay-Z was also quite up there. He was number 3 on the list, and both of them were kind of critiqued because neither Tay or Jay were touring at the time. So it was like,
where are they going?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like celebrities, and I do love Taylor. I do love certain celebrities, but they do kind of live with their own set of rules. So I feel like I wasn't shocked, but it is very bad. And I did see that a lot of them, I don't know if Taylor ever released a statement, but I saw that some of them released statements saying, maybe it was Kylie Jenner or maybe it was even Drake, but saying, oh no, that's either I let other people use my plane, or it was going for some kind of service or something. There was no one even on the plane.
Which is
as
even
if
worse,
that makes any
arguably.
difference. Yeah. And the point is,
I think that was in defense of the short flight. So they also published the times of the flights when it was I don't know, someone did a 20-minute flight. They were like, oh no, we're just moving it. And it's that's not better.
no. The emissions were still emitted, whether
and it's
you were
still
on
your
the plane
jet.
or not. Yeah,
you're still responsible for this.
It's just so far removed from anything we know. We'll never fly on a private jet. I can't really wrap my head around it, if that makes sense. I wasn't surprised, but I was pretty disappointed. She is kind of the queen of marketing, so I feel like it kind of slipped under the radar. Do you know if she released a statement or something?
Yeah, so her representatives released a similar statement where it was just, she lends her jet out a lot. But even that, it's let your friends get planes because it's more eco-friendly. The problem with private jets is that you're flying a plane for a small handful of people, if even that, versus a plane where, if you're going to take off into the air, you should be taking off with a substantial amount of people to make it eco-friendly. Yeah, I was a bit disappointed that she hasn't really made a statement.
Yeah, sometimes with PR things, it's people think if I don't say anything, it will be better. But I think in certain situations, had she held herself accountable and sort of said yes, it is really bad, and I'm going to try and I don't know what she can do. Yeah, can she just fly first class? Can celebrities just fly in a regular plane and go first class?
I have looked into this before, and I do believe that some airports, I think maybe LA and maybe even some in London, might have celebrity lounges sort of things, or they have the services to do discreet air travel that. But I do imagine that a lot of airports don't really have that sort of privacy. I think I was once on a plane with Ed Sheeran, like back at the start of his career, and he was like so covered up. This is why I was like, I swear that must be Ed Sheeran. I'd guess it was about 2012. I think it's the way he had his hoodie up or something like that. It looked like he was trying to hide, and I was like, I swear that looks like Ed Sheeran. And then when we landed, I saw that he was playing at a festival that weekend in Valencia where we were flying to. So I was like, I bet it was.
Good for him.
Yeah, and then my dad, well, he was very early on in his career at this point, so I think this was like still his first album, so maybe he is jetting around now. But my dad texted my sister being like, I sat next to Ed Sheeran on the flight. That's not what happened. But yeah, so it must be quite stressful as a celebrity to fly like that.
I suppose it depends the level of celebrity as well, like you say, if you can go in disguise. This is what I was thinking. So, you know, London Boy, she's singing about Hackney, she's singing about Brixton, she's singing out about going to all these places.
Yeah.
If she can go incognito in all these different places and go out and have fun, go to the pub with her boyfriend, why can't she just fly first class on a plane and not be, you know, if she had her hood up, if she had sunglasses on, surely, I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder how much of it is domestic because, like, I think her level of fame here is so much lower than in America. Like, I think in America people are wild about her. Wild. Like, she took up the whole of the Billboard top 10 over in the US.
This
like,
is true.
She is next level famous and people next level care about her over there. So I think whilst like everyone's heard of Taylor Swift here, I feel like actually only a handful of the UK would be able to recognise her on the street. And I also found out, so the whole reason this report has been created is because a student started a Twitter account called like Celeb Jets. He started off tracking Elon Musk just because I think he was a bit of a fanboy, and now he's ended up being this sort of like sustainability hero.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think he's kind of like riding the wave. He's like, cool, if I'm helping make a difference and calling these celebs to account, sure, I'll take the credit because he has done, he made headlines, and it was just like a student. I think he was just trying to set up a Twitter to get followers basically and maybe make money off of it.
I didn't know that's where it all came from. No. That's really cool.
I learned that this morning.
Yeah, power to the people.
I think the biggest issue I have with it is that she just didn't ever communicate that she cares about the climate crisis. She made like no comment at all, and no celebs do.
I mean, some do, but I can't think of
none of the ones that were critiqued.
Oh, sorry, yeah. No, they don't care. I mean, yeah, they don't care. That's the crux of it. You can't force people to care, and let's be honest, they don't care. Because I think that Kylie Jenner, I think she was on the list as well, and I remember it was just after she posted that photo. Yeah, she's the one that kind of like triggered it. She was like, your jet or mine. Yeah, I don't like the flex culture, and then that's kind of the kind of thing that did make me think, oh, maybe Taylor is a little bit different because she's not really into that kind of, you know, showing off on Instagram, flexing like money and wealth that much. It's not really her thing. And do you think there's a difference with that? So, for example, is Taylor Swift a bit more of an eco-celebrity because she's not promoting this overconsumption, even though she's doing it herself, versus, like, say, the Kardashian clan, who are big peddlers, and that is, like, their primary focus, really. Like, they're not creating music or anything, they're selling. That's an interesting question, because to give her credit, like, Taylor is very much, she is an artist, and like her songwriting, like that's her thing, whereas like most other celebrities, they'll have their, you know, fame in a certain area, but then they branch out into like products or like pushing clothing lines. Like Harry, he's got beauty line now. So many other celebrities have beauty lines, whereas I feel like Taylor is a bit more, she really, really loves the art of music. Yeah, she doesn't necessarily push product for the sake of pushing product. I would disagree on that. Oh,
so,
really?
yeah, like...
Enlighten me. I don't know.
So with her latest release, Midnight, she's got 4 different designs for the vinyls. And if you get all 4, it makes a clock face.
Right.
It looks really cool, and I may have asked for them for Christmas, but at the end of the day, she is promoting overconsumption there. I don't need 4 vinyls of the same album, but she's made me want to buy 4. But
she wants the sales of the albums. Right, yeah.
But that's the thing. I think she's less looking for merch sales, product sales primarily. I think she's like trying to win all the titles, the accolades and the records, like the record setting rather than like a vinyl record. Like I think she's out to try and do all that stuff, and unfortunately consumerism is a big part of that. So I think she's done that to get album sales for the notability of it rather than for the money. Yeah, she does very much. And it's not a bad thing, but she does really care about stuff like that. Like I remember in her documentary, you know, the Miss Americana. And there's nothing wrong with like wanting the awards. And do you know, like she got that phone call about Reputation saying it wasn't nominated for a Grammy or something. And obviously it's gutting if you put your heart and soul into an album, it doesn't get the awards that maybe your past records have been nominated for. But I can see that being true. Like she wants to be like fill up the top 10 and all of these things, which... it's not a bad thing. I suppose there's like a level of competitiveness in certain celebrities, but there's a difference between just pushing sort of like downloads where there's no like actual product and waste versus pushing, buying 4 vinyls that Yeah.
You're not going to listen to 3 of them, are you? You're just going to pick one and listen to that one.
And I've heard also that, like, with the resurgence of vinyls becoming a bit more cool, the hipsters have made them cooler, I guess. I heard there's actually a shortage for... Like, these are just comments I've had from guys over the last 2 weeks since I got my first vinyl. So, I mean, take it with a pinch of salt. But one commented that the materials used to make them are actually in quite short supply. Artists like Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran might buy them all up, and then it's harder for the smaller artists to buy as many.
Material for the actual...
Yeah, something like that. But then someone else looked at the disc. I have the lavender one, and it looks like it's made from... You know how, like, recycled paper has different colours to it?
Yeah.
Like, it looks like the vinyl is made from, like, a mix of colours. So that's more sustainable than one which is, like, perfectly one colour if you're bringing the materials in. So I was like, okay, there's a whole world of vinyls and sustainability that I'm very unaware of.
I never even thought about that, but that's a really good point. And, like, the size of a vinyl compared to a CD, compared to, like, just a download. And also, I have to say, I've never bought any Taylor merch, but it is very ugly. I'll be surprised if it lasts past the season of that era. Did you ever see the Lover merch?
I really did not like that. I did not like that.
Horrible.
I was in a point where I was like, I need to buy some Taylor merch. I'm such a fan. And I was on eBay looking for secondhand Taylor merch. I finally came across one T-shirt from the Reputation tour, which I liked. But now I look like, people are like, oh, you went to the Reputation tour? I'm like, no. It's just the one T-shirt she's ever made that I like. There is one of the new Taylor merch, which I've got my eye on. It's like a crop top, because I don't even understand why Taylor Swift, all of her merch is like unisex fit. I'm like, come on, we're the majority of the fans. I hate unisex fit because it's actually just men's fit. Like
super baggy, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a men's fit. Like, there's no difference. So I'm like, don't call it unisex when it's men's fit. Like, just make it, especially if you're Taylor Swift, make it female fit. Like, it just bothers me. Okay, we can meander off Taylor Swift for a little bit. You are a big Harry Styles fan. That's your bread and butter here. And I also know you're a big anti-celebrity makeup fan. And you touched on it earlier. Harry Styles released, what was it?
Pleasing.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Him and his overpriced nail polishes.
I mean, I'm never going to buy from it. I just know I'm not, and that's coming from a fan. Like, it's so expensive. We're talking, I think it's close to $70 for like 4 nail polishes. I'm pretty sure it's cruelty free. I can't even remember if it is.
I'm pretty certain it was vegan and cruelty free.
Yeah, I mean, probably most brands that launch these days are.
Especially the celebrity ones. They want to be tied to the good ethic.
Yeah.
In particular.
I mean, it's hard to criticize, but nobody is above critique. And even though I do love him and love his music, I think that there wasn't really a need for it. I mean, personally, I like my Barry M nail polish. I know
another man doing nails. Like the bulk of our nail polishes in the UK, Barry M.
Yeah, I know. I only realised that the other day that Barry M was made by a man called Barry.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It almost
the least, like glamorous, sexy man's name coming, and it's like, and then Harry was like, you know, we're underrepresented, and it's like.
Harry S.
Yeah.
Barry M. Harry S. No, I will never buy from it. I think that even the packaging looks super wasteful. Like, it's pretty, but it's kind of, if no one's seen it, it's kind of like nail polish, and then it's got this marble ball on top. I'm sure the quality is fine, but I don't think it's going to be any better than like the £4 nail polishes I buy and use. I know you don't know what's going on in someone's head, but I've never felt a passion for beauty from him. I don't know why people can't just like stick to their passions and their lanes. Like, he loves music, he's good at music, he might love acting as well, not so great at acting, but it's like, I just didn't really see the need. And I think sometimes with these celebrity beauty brands, when there is no need, it's not doing anything new, it's not being innovative with like packaging or formula, it's just stuff for the sake of stuff. And I think that's where my main gripe is. I don't know, how do you feel about it?
No, I feel very similarly. I'm just like, it's overpriced, it's unwanted. I haven't even seen it over here. Is it mostly in the US?
Yeah, I think you can maybe get it online, but probably like with taxes and duties and whatever. But it's too much money. And like in this economy, we're in a cost of living. Like, it's just...
On tangent of that, I did see, so he's just done a collaboration with Gucci, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I did see a couple of comments on that post being like, this is so expensive, who's going to pay for that? And then someone else commented, this is a Gucci collab, not a Primark collab. What are you expecting? And I found that quite funny as well.
That's true. But that kind of makes sense to me, though, because he's been a Gucci... Actually, originally he was YSL. Not endorsed by YSL, but like he would only wear like YSL. You know, like Chelsea boots and the skinny jeans and the white t-shirts. That was kind of his thing.
Rock boy era.
Yes. Yeah. And then like with the long hair, and then he slowly kind of moved into like the florals, the suits, the flares. To me, that makes sense because it's like he's a Gucci boy and he actually wears it. You can tell he likes fashion, he likes experimenting.
Yeah, I see him more as a fashion guy than a beauty guy.
Yeah.
So yes.
And like, again, I'm not going to buy it because I'm not buying Gucci.
To.
No, I'm not buying Gucci. I'm sure it's a beautiful collection. But yeah, that makes more sense. I think just like, I said this before, but just make it make sense. Like, if it makes sense, I'm not going to like complain about it. But when it just is so left field, like all these male celebrities coming, and it's not that they're male, but it's just that when they come out with skincare lines and then they say, oh, well, I've never really had like a skincare routine. Like Brad Pitt openly says, I've never really had a skincare routine. Like sometimes I wash my face with shower gel or whatever. And it's like,
I'm not buying anything from this man. No.
He looks beautiful, don't get me wrong. But he obviously has Botox. He obviously has, they all do. They have these things. It just,
that's where it gets manipulative, isn't it? Because not every celebrity discloses all of their procedures, they have the aesthetics, and then to come out and pretend that you look this young because of the skincare secret that you've kept for so long and you're now going to put into a product to sell. That's icky. That is icky.
It is icky. It is. And it's not just the male celebrities. I'm
thinking of J-Lo as well when I was saying that, because I don't know what the secret is to her great skin, but I'm going to guess it's not her new skincare line.
I think mainly genes. Like I think she's got amazing genetics, and a lot of the time it's like Hailey Bieber with Rhode Skincare. She has great genes. Like, I'm pretty sure her mum was like a model or beautiful. And like, she has amazing skin naturally. Like, I'm sure the products are good as well. But it's like, you can't sell genetics.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's a whole nother topic, like the whole marketing of things. Even the Kardashians marketing fit tea when it's obvious. Well, you've had a tummy tuck, you've had like all these things, and
you're editing your photos before you publish them as well. Like it's all the layers to it. It's so bad. I miss the days where like everyone would be like, why does Shakira look so young? And it's like, she doesn't drink, and I was like, that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, cool.
She dances a lot. She doesn't drink. She's unproblematic. I mean,
of course she glows. If I read a magazine, it's like, oh, this girl doesn't drink. She eats like 5 a day and she's very active. I'm like, okay, there we go. That is the secret of like good skin. That makes sense. She drinks a lot of water. There we go. Like, don't try and sell me something. Oh, Harry also got on the news recently. Well, not on the news, on my TikTok feed. What's the difference these days? Someone chucked a chicken nugget at him on stage. Have you seen this video?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, because if it came up on my TikTok, it must be coming up on your TikTok.
Yeah.
So basically, someone chucks chicken nugget on stage and he like picks up and he's like, oh, I'm not eating that. I'm a vegetarian. Or
don't eat chicken.
Yeah, I don't eat chicken. That's what he said. Sorry, yeah, he doesn't eat chicken.
No.
And then like all the vegans and the vegetarians are like, yes, that's our man. It was quite cool.
Yeah.
Did that make you like him a bit more? Like, I mean, you already love it. It made me like him a bit more.
Yeah, I think he's a pescatarian though. I don't think he's a vegetarian. Like, don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But yeah, we love a man that doesn't eat meat. I find it like really attractive. I do like it. And also when they're just like not ashamed, they don't make a big thing about it, but they're not.
He didn't hide it. He didn't lie.
It's just,
he wasn't like, that's been on the floor, I'm not eating that. He was like, I'm gonna make a point about chicken.
Yeah. No, I like it.
I generally find that I do take a bit more of a shine to celebrities if they do something that's a bit like pro-vegan or pro-environment. For example, Billie Eilish and Lizzo. I felt like I warmed more to their music when I found out they were vegan. Like I was like, oh yeah, they're quite cool.
Are they vegan?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They both incredibly vegan. And Lizzo's really done a lot, I feel, to change like stereotypes about what a vegan looks like, what a vegan diet can look like as well, like what it takes to eat as a vegan. So
yeah, I love her.
I found that quite warming. But then oddly, so Miley Cyrus famously went vegan and then she totally unveganed.
Oh, I didn't realise she wasn't vegan. I'm out of the loop.
You are so out of the loop.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, so she went on a podcast, I think it was like Joe Rogan's, and she was like very publicly like, I don't do that anymore. That was my Miley. I don't remember what she said, but she kind of
Miley though.
Yeah, she kind of slammed it.
She didn't like the diet, or she.
I didn't go too deep into it because I'm actually not that bothered hugely about celebrities. I'm like, okay, she's not vegan anymore. I'm going to stop being like, Miley's a vegan, you know. I think she was saying some bad things about it.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. Like, I'm a long-term Miley fan. I used to be in the Miley Cyrus club, like the Miley World club when I was younger.
Okay.
I was a big fan. It was just like this online club.
Adorable.
Yeah, it was a good time. I don't really understand, because it seems to be a bit of a pattern. Like, people will go vegan. I don't know if like Ariana Grande is still vegan. For example.
I've always been confused about that one.
Yeah, because
she licked a donut, didn't she?
I know.
And I was like, is it a vegan donut? The news reports didn't seem to care.
No, but they do seem to, they'll go vegan and they like push really hard for it, really like promote it. Like Miley was always posting about like animals, and I think she had, she adopted some like pigs and stuff, and she was talking about, factory farming and things like that.
Did you ever hear her song Pablo the Blowfish?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that it's a song about like her blowfish, and then she went out to have sushi, and that's I think when she turned vegan, wasn't it? And it was so emotional. And then Pablo died. Oh
yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, yes, continue.
I love that album. It was so weird.
Miley and her dead pets.
Yeah, Miley Cyrus and her dead pets. I understand, like, going vegan, it is very, like, it's a passionate issue, and I understand, like, they're really passionate about it, but then to do, like, the complete 180, and sometimes influencers do that as well, like, certain, like, fitness influencers will be vegan, you know, post vegan meals and alongside their workouts, and then they go the complete 180. I always find it strange because sometimes I just think when you go vegan, something kind of clicks in your brain.
Yeah.
And I always find it interesting, like, what has unclicked? And everybody's different, and, like, everyone's dietary requirements are different. I get it. Not everyone can be vegan, and, like, I completely accept that. But it's just interesting, like, how they can go the complete opposite direction after being so passionate about it. The thing is, you don't need to publicise everything sometimes. Like, your dietary requirements are personal. Yeah, it makes me sad to think that she would say bad things about the diet. You can just say nothing. Like, you don't need to put people off, because there are a lot of people out there who have a certain idea of veganism, and it would make me sad for her to try and confirm their doubts about it. So,
but if that's her experience, is she not allowed to share it?
I don't know what she said, but
yeah, that's fair. I should have come with quotes. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. I'm going to look it up after this.
Yeah. Has it changed your opinion just now, sitting here learning that she's no longer vegan? Are you like, I like her a little less?
Not really, because I mean, everyone's different. It depends what she said. If she said something like, putting people off, I'd be a little bit disappointed. But also, we don't know these people. I think that's what we've got to remind ourselves. Even though I feel like I know her because I've known her growing up watching Hannah Montana and, you know, listening to all her albums, I don't know her at the end of the day. She seems lovely, but
also, in her book Miles to Go that she released when she was like 15, 16 or whatever, I remember I was already vegan and I was reading it, and she talks about like all the animals she grew up with, and she's like, I could never go vegetarian though. And I was like, oh. So when she eventually turned vegan, I was like, but in Miles to Go she said she'd never do this. So I was so stunned whenever when she did turn vegan. I was like, she said she never would. And then now she's clearly over it. Yeah, I guess everyone's free to change and change their opinions. Yeah, the key thing is that celebrities aren't role models, and it's not fair when that's thrust upon them.
This is true. Yeah, just because you're a good singer, and she is a great singer and makes good music, doesn't mean... Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's like similar to kind of like politics and things. You know, just because somebody is a talented musician doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be fully educated on politics and social issues and the environment and things.
Although I feel like, you know, I can't really excuse Taylor Swift on that one. I'm like, I'll still listen to her music and I'll still enjoy her, but I wish she could say something about the climate. It's so hard because normally I'd say, and my job requires it because I do like touring, but she wasn't even touring during this.
I know. But she has been political in the past, hasn't she? In the Lover era, I feel like she was, you know, like, you need to calm down. I know she didn't do it too well in terms of like the music video and things. There were certain issues with it, but like, I think she was pushing for a certain bill or something. Do you remember? In the Miss Americana documentary, she was talking about
she wanted
dad.
to
She was
start
saying,
going political.
I really, this means a lot to me. I really want to promote this, and I think maybe she won an award and dedicated it to this bill that they passed or something. I don't know the details, sorry, but it's interesting that she's just never said anything, to my knowledge, about the climate crisis.
And I think it's kind of touching on what you said earlier about just celebrities living such different lives. You forwarded me a post earlier this week which was about like billionaires, didn't you? And just how their carbon footprint is like so much bigger than the average person. It just makes you feel a bit useless kind of as an everyday person. It's like, well, what good is it me, like, I don't know, getting a car share to work when Taylor Swift's doing private jets and Leonardo DiCaprio, despite all of his climate work, is still on his yacht and all this stuff, and you're just, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. And it's also like, why does having a lot of money and having like a skill in a certain area, why does that excuse you from like the moral compass of caring about the planet? It just doesn't make any sense. They do live in a different world. Like, it's hard to understand because it's not something I'm ever going to experience, or the life of luxury. And I feel like that's also annoying when they release these brands and they say like, oh, but it's a sustainable brand, and it's like, okay, maybe it's using, you know, post-consumer plastic or something, or recycled plastic, or it's recyclable, but like the impact of your lifestyle far outweighs any of the good and any of the kind of upcycling and recycling that your brand is going to.
Especially when it's not like an industry changing brand. It's like, you're actually not bringing anything new to the beauty industry here. You're just not ripping off. I mean, like, these ideas are quite widely shared, and the reason that indie beauty brands that are eco-friendly do their work and find these new ways of doing things is so that bigger companies will take them on. They are looking to make the world better, but generally I'm like, if people had the money to spend on a celebrity beauty line, please just support an indie beauty brand with so many more ethics, even a better head for ingredients and skincare. Like, your skin will be better off and you're supporting a business rather than a celebrity that's already way too rich.
Are there any celebrity beauty brands that you like?
Oh, that is a tough one. Do you know what? There are some which I would class differently. Oh, Fenty, obviously, because Rihanna came in and she changed the industry. She saw a gap in the market. She saw that like black women's skin was not being catered to, and she completely changed it. And unfortunately, I think every other celebrity thinks they can just have that sort of success because Rihanna did. And it's like, well, Rihanna actually had a passion and an idea, and I don't know how involved she is with it, but I think it's still an incredible brand that changed the industry. So there was space for it and there was a purpose for it, whereas every other celebrity, it just feels like a bit of a cash grab.
Jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Did you see that report about the Fenty products being, I think they use, and I personally think this is actually across the beauty industry, I don't think it's specific to Fenty, but mica that's been mined
child
unethically,
labour.
from child labour. I don't actually know why Fenty in particular, and why not just all beauty brands, because
Most do.
Most do, and I very rarely see brands that, there are a couple of indie brands, but I rarely see brands that kind of claim like ethically mined mica. I know By Bee have a couple of kind of like base products that explicitly say like, you know, certified ethically mined mica, but it's not really something that is claimed that often. So
I think that's probably going to be the new cruelty free. You know how cruelty free like 10 years ago, it was so fringe, no one really had an answer for it on their FAQs. I think we just need to keep asking about it. It's something I personally need to do. I need to start looking into all my makeup and making sure which ones do and which ones don't, but unfortunately it is so considered right now, unfortunately. Really, I think it's hard for brands to really find out where theirs are from. I think Lush are pretty good for it though. That's one of the reasons I shop there quite a lot, is because I trust them on all these levels that I don't even think about. It's one of these murky industries. I didn't realise Fenty was like hugely critiqued for that.
I think it was this week actually.
Oh.
Maybe it came out.
But I do agree with you. It's most beauty brands, like it's not fair. It doesn't seem fair to critique Fenty, but I guess it's a celebrity brand, so that gets headlines. Rounding up this segment, I don't know, it's just such a weird one with celebrities. It's like, on the one hand, I feel like they should be able to do what they can do, but on the other hand, it's like the climate crisis is everyone's problem.
Fame in itself is like, what even is it? Ironically, I think it was Kanye. I remember him saying ages ago, before, you know,
recent events,
he said fame is an illusion, and like that is so true. Fame, what is it? It's not something tangible. It's not. It comes as quick as it goes sometimes, and it's like, why does fame excuse people from something that's all of our problem, like the climate emergency? It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what the answer is, but
more regulation on private jets.
Okay.
That's giving people carbon allowances. I don't know. I'm sure there are solutions. It's just, what are people in our current capitalist society willing to implement and restrict the rich with? The further we get into the climate crisis, it's like the rich are ruling the world and they're destroying the world, and it makes you feel quite powerless, and it makes you really quite disappointed when you see someone like Taylor Swift not really giving us an answer, because this isn't like bothering her about her boyfriends or bothering her about, I don't know, anything that she shouldn't feel duty to comment on. This is like, hey Tay, like, this is our future we're fighting for, and you're actually a big detriment to the climate crisis, and this is something a lot of your fans care about. Not like it's stuff like, I don't know, tabloids care about. It's like your fans care.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because there is a real difference between just like gossip and like, has this person lost weight? Has this person gained weight? Or like, has this person had lip fillers? Versus,
or is she pregnant? Or is she married?
Like, all of that sort of petty gossip versus like genuine critique that is like, this is not saying like you're a bad person or like that you don't care, but your actions are having consequences that are impacting all of us. So I feel like that kind of criticism is warranted. So
yeah, and I feel like we deserve like a proper response.
Yes, agreed.
Because like I say, it's something the fans do care about, but clearly not enough. You know, fan camps, they're very bad at over critiquing their celebrities,
and also making excuses for celebrities that you feel like you know and love. And like, I'm probably guilty of it as well. Like with Harry, he said some things that I don't agree with, and you do kind of, you automatically think like, oh, you know, let's try and rationalise it, let's try and make an excuse for it. Just because someone's talented doesn't excuse them from caring.
Feels like on the internet, as far as like talking about celebrities goes, either you seem to either love them or want them to be cancelled, and it's like, can we make room for the people who just want to critique and be like, I love new albums, hey, but fly less.
Yes.
It's basically that. A lot of the celebrities also got so critiqued for having such short flights. Like, so many of them had average flight times of just over an hour.
Where are they going? Like, what are you doing?
Literally.
Do they just think, oh, let's go to Paris for a couple of hours? Or do they just like pick a place, and to them, is it like getting in the car or like jumping
I think so. And we have to remember, America is a lot bigger. I remember like COP last year, we didn't Boris like get a jet from London to Glasgow. And I think they're doing like similar things over in America, but that doesn't make it okay. It's one of those things where their time and money, you know, when your time is worth so much, it makes sense financially to get a jet, to get somewhere and make more money in a day, or enjoy your free time that you maybe have less of. And like, that's their excuse, but then you have to take into account the climate crisis.
Yeah, it's true. It's a very money-driven mindset. It's like, I know we live in a capitalist society and that is how it is, but also it does require like a bit of a change of mindset, and like to not be driven by money, to also be driven by like the general welfare for people and the planet.
I imagine there are a lot of celebrities that have never really like considered private jets and their like climate impact. They're like, it's just like getting a plane, like some people probably think. And now it's become very clear, like
especially the like the nepotism babies. I'm sure like to them it's probably so normal to go on like all these holidays and private planes and things like that they would never even, they wouldn't even think of getting the train or whatever.
And I imagine even when you work in the sphere, like say you're getting a private jet to go to this interview, then that interview, then that interview, and you're like, if I get a private jet for all these things, doesn't it make sense for me to be able to go to like my friend's graduation and then her birthday party? That means so much more than these two interviews. Like, I think it's so easy to rationalise it once you're in that bubble. But anyway, I feel like we have talked that to death. We can move on to the fan half of the episode. Where do I even start with this? I feel like I'm going in deep end. But why do you like Taylor Swift? What is it about her that you enjoy? What made you a fan?
What made me a fan was obviously her songwriting and her songs. And there is an air about her that I just think, and I know we don't know these people, but she seems like a really nice person. And I think she cares about her craft. She cares, I don't know, but I feel like she really cares about her fans. You know how she has album listening parties and things. Even like at her live shows, her mum will like go around and kind of pick people to go backstage and like meet her and things like that I think when you get to a certain level of fame, you don't need to do. You know, and there are other celebrities like of her level that don't do that. I feel like she genuinely does care about the music and the fans, and I think that's probably why she's got such a strong fan base, and like she's still all these years later, because she's actually had such a long career and done so well for so long. She's not had like the peaks and troughs that certain other pop stars have.
Yeah, because she's over 10 years. She's about like, 15 years into her career now, roughly. Yeah. She's not really had a flop era. No. It's very interesting, and it's very hard to like maintain that level. It's really impressive. I read an article the other day which was comparing Taylor Swift and her music to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Interesting.
I know, and I was like, it actually kind of blew my mind afterwards. I'm like, oh my god, because we've both stumbled down to Swift Talk, which is the Taylor Swift side of TikTok.
The best part of TikTok.
Oh my god, there are so many fan theories out there. So many of them make no sense. Other ones make perfect sense. And even with Taylor Swift herself, like lyrically, she'll be referencing her new songs with like lines that link to her old songs.
That is something I love as well. I've always been a geek about lyrics like for so long, and that like Genius Lyrics is one of my favorite websites ever, like finding out the meanings of all the lyrics and things, and that is her strong suit. Like she as a lyricist, she is amazing. I do think people don't actually understand how clever she is, and like how all these little Easter eggs and things, and like the puzzles that she gets people to kind of work out. She is a genius, and like she's a marketing genius. I think like if she didn't have talents in songwriting and singing, I think she'd be successful whatever she was doing, because she's very intelligent.
And her work ethic is crazy. The amount of albums she's had out, even since like 2020 alone, she got out Folklore and then Evermore, which were two like brand new albums, and then she got out two of her re-recordings, the Fearless one and then the Red one. And now we've got, not Karma, Midnights this year. I was like, finally Karma's here. No, Midnights this year. It's just like, it's incredible. Have I even missed one out? I feel like I could have even missed one out, but I think that was it. And then even with Midnights, 3 hours later, we got the 3 a.m. songs.
I know. What a curveball that was.
I know. Because I personally, I think I prefer the 3 a.m. songs. So I was a little underwhelmed, perhaps, with my first listening of Midnights.
Okay.
But I always feel like Taylor Swift first listening, as you were saying, it's all about the lyrics. So you can't really absorb enough of it on the first listen. So it's always a builder.
That's interesting, because when I listened to the 3 a.m. tracks, I was a little bit disappointed. But they've grown on me a lot. And like, I think she has this like skill of having obviously instant bangers, like just really good pop songs, like Karma. The first time I heard that, I was like, this is amazing. I
also
so
Anti-Hero, like the second I heard It's Me, Hi, I'm the Problem, It's Me, I'm like, this is gonna go TikTok viral. This was made for TikTok. You know how some artists you'll see are creating for TikTok? I think it's even unfair to brand her as that, because so many of her back catalogue are just so TikTokable. So I feel like that's just her genre in a nutshell.
But it's funny because the Growers sometimes become my favourite songs. Would've, could've, should've. When I first heard that, I was like, God, she's really gone for the metaphors. Sometimes she clings to a metaphor. And
that's the grower for you.
Yeah. And now it's like, oh, I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, no, that was the only song on the 2 albums where like the second it was done, I was like, because it really, really builds. And afterwards I felt so stressed and distressed. And I was like, oh my God, what have I just listened to? And I had to go back and like re-listen to it. And I was like, this was the only song where I had to do that. So I was like, it hit from the start. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Do you have a heart of steel?
No, that's what I love though, because, and like I went through some of the like TikTok, people like rank her songs like on the first listen, second listen. Everyone's is different. And like, I think that's so interesting because, you know, there are certain songs, like even on Folklore, there are certain songs I might have like skipped, but then other people were like, no, this is like the best song ever. And I think because she has such a, what's the word, like variety, like she has so many different sounds as a pop like
Have
singer.
you heard about her, the pen analogy? She's like proclaimed that she's got like 3 different types of songs and it's all about the pen she uses. One was like a quill, and then the other one was a glitter gel pen, and I can't remember what the first one was, maybe like a typewriter or something, I don't know, but like I love a lot of the glitter gel pen songs. Like that's generally my energy, and then a few of the quills. If that makes
the quill. No, the quills are sad ones maybe.
Also like stuff which just feel like it should be in a different time. So for example, like Ivy on Evermore, that one I feel like I've just watched a period drama in like a song.
You know, she did the Long Pond Folklore sessions. I think she mentioned at one of like the interviews, she was saying that it's maybe something she got from like country music, because country music encapsulates like within a song it's a story, and maybe it gets to like a certain bridge and suddenly everything you've heard in the song up till that point, it like flips on its head and it's something completely different, like No Body No Crime, that kind of thing where it's like, oh, it was me, or like it just like completely flips on its head. And I think maybe that is how, because she obviously started in country music, moved to pop, and that's something like very unique to her because she's made that cross so well.
Oh my God, that's such a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it came from her mouth. So,
so Midnights, what are your favourite songs? Like, pick one. It doesn't have to be the favourite, just pick one of your favourites.
I love Maroon.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so sultry. I was like, Taylor, and it's second track, isn't it? And I was like, oh, we're going a bit like sexy this album.
Yeah, I love it. I love the production on it. I love just everything about it. And obviously like maroon, red. It feels like red vibes, but yeah, it's sort of darker in themes. And obviously maroon is darker than red. And it's like all of these, like metaphors. I love Maroon. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda. And
that's one of my favourites. I absolutely adore that one. And like the
build.
Like the references back to Dear John as well. Like there were no questions. I was like, oh, she's done another song about John Mayer. And Speak Now, Taylor's version, is going to be the next one out.
Yeah. Do you think?
Oh, okay. So you have not seen this TikTok. So basically, in the Bejeweled music video, when she goes into the lift, there are like, I don't know, like 13 buttons on the lift. I can't remember the exact number, sorry. Fake fan here. And they're all colour coded. And it starts off with the debut colour, then it goes on to the Fearless colour, then red, so it's all in order. Say Midnights is the 12th. And then the next one on the lift is a purple. And I was like, this fan theory actually makes sense.
Oh, I love Speak Now. Oh, that's going to be great.
That's the Dear John era. So I'm like, if she's put woulda, coulda, should've on Midnights, then what is
coming?
She? Yeah.
Oh, I love the From the Vault songs. I like some of my favourites. I love them so much. Yeah, love Maroon, love also Midnight Rain. I have no idea who that song's about, but love it.
I feel like it's like Two Single Girls, because I really like that one. I feel like that one reminds me of like my last relationship and kind of being like, I just need to be alone. Like I was chasing the fame or like the career and all that sort of stuff. I was like, I want to just focus on me and what I want in life and not really be part of a couple. And like he was really wanting to settle, so I felt like Midnight Rain really like it's okay. No, I'm just like, oh wow, this know when
to you.
And when someone else can pen down these feelings and kind of like give voice to how you feel, you're like, oh, I've never really known how to like communicate this before, and now I've like found a song that really does actually tell that quite well.
She does that a lot, and it's similar like with poetry as well. Like when you read a poem and it kind of, or a passage in a book and it says something you've felt but you haven't managed to put into words. I feel like she's very good at that.
I think this is one of the reasons she's so popular. It's because it's not very often that you'll find like a female singer-songwriter who is able to really release music without men controlling it so much. You know, she's not being forced to be overtly sexual, and like she's just able to really put pen to paper and communicate how she feels. I know there are other artists that do that, but like Taylor Swift does it incredibly. I feel like that is one of the reasons she's got such a loyal fan base, because I'm like, she can communicate things I can't, and I don't know anyone else who can write like she does.
No, I think there are artists that do that, but they're not necessarily in the pop space. Like there are certain like folk artists and things who really like are very, very good at that. But in the pop world, I can't really think of anyone else who has that control over their songwriting and
their image and like just everything about themselves. So the fact that she can do that. As we know, the majority of the industry is like controlled by men, and so it's just wonderful to have her, I guess. I'm such a fan. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, she's great. What's your favourite on Midnights?
Do you know, it was Whittle, Could Have, Should Have. I think it is just because it's just so harrowing. It just destroyed me hearing how upset she still was about this relationship she had at 19.
Yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know the song too well, it's about her relationship with John Mayer, and he was 32, she was 19. I think it's actually a bit of a like post-Me Too sort of statement, because it was very clear in Dear John back in like 2010 that she was unhappy with how the relationship ended, and she felt very like exploited as a young woman. And she wrote Dear John, she's like, don't you think I was too young to be messed with? And the industry, like, everyone just came back at her being like, oh, Taylor Swift's writing about her exes again. They like really trivialized it. And I feel like part of her is like, I'm still really broken from this. No one was on my side. Maybe let's go again. Let's see. Will anyone take my side now?
Understand it now.
Yeah.
Or when she's like, give me back my girlhood, it was mine first. I was like,
it tears your soul apart, honestly.
Yeah.
That song is too much. And also, I don't know if you're much of a Demi Lovato fan, but she just released a song called 29. And
oh, yeah, I have heard that.
Yeah, and it's about when she was 17, she was dating a 29-year-old, and she's now 29, and she's calling him out, and Taylor Swift's now 32, and she's calling out John Mayer. And it's just interesting that they're both now the age of these older men they dated, and they're like, what the hell were you thinking?
Yeah, you have the reflection.
Yeah, it's like, you're a predator. And these girls were also the picture of innocence in their respected like areas. Like a Disney girl, and then Taylor Swift like talking about fairy tales and stuff.
That's the thing, like it's not so much the age gap, because I think if someone's
it's not
like,
always icky.
No, and if someone's 32 and like 52, for example, like when you're both adults, and obviously at 19, yes, you're an adult, but like your brain is not formed properly. You don't like necessarily pick up on red flags, and you don't necessarily know much about the dating world, like versus a 32-year-old man. Like, I mean, I'm sure it still happens today, like in the industry, but like it's weird how that was ever. And
I don't want to say
normal.
It's always bad. Maybe there are some people with like healthy relationships that have started off that way. I don't know, but I don't know that many people with age gaps. But it's just the fact that she came out like so soon afterwards and was like, that was wrong, and then no one validated her. Like it was all like, there she goes again, complaining about men again. Oh, it just broke my heart. So I thought she was over it, you know. I thought she was still like just mad at Jake Gyllenhaal, and it's like, oh my god, John Mayer, you destroyed this girl. Those kind of traumas, like they probably do, like the little echoes of them probably do carry throughout your life. And something I do love about Midnights is obviously because it's from different eras in her life, the contrast. And then like, for example, that song with Sweet Nothing, you can really see like, because Sweet Nothing is more of a current song, more about her current relationship. It's just, that's one of my favourites as well. But it's nice to kind of see that. I mean, obviously it's all a bit of a jumble because they're not really in order from way back. But that's half the fun. It is. It's like, oh, who's this one about? Sweet Nothings is like a hug. I love that one so much. It's one of her best songs ever, I would say. Yeah. And the fact they wrote it together, I just... Oh, yeah. That's the love. That's the love I want. Just like no drama, no stress, just comfortable. Yeah, it's so sweet. I like that. My other favourite one on this is another 3am track. I really love Paris. It is so fun. I knew that was it's Marmite, that one. It is, and I feel like it's really 1989. For my sins, I did not like. I don't love all of it. Flops and bops on that, as far as I'm concerned. But like Paris is so fun. I feel like it's just like Taylor being unabashedly daydreamy, girly. Like I love how it's just drinking cheap wine, pretending it's champagne, like throughout the lyrics, and then at the end she's like, we're in an alleyway drinking champagne, just being like, I believe the fairy tale. Don't get me wrong, I was listening to it on the way here. Like I would still listen, even the bad or like the skips I still listen to. Like they're still great. But it's so crazy how she can do the really fun songs like that, and Bejeweled, and all these like upbeat songs, but also the like harrowingly sad songs. Is such a skill. I felt like Paris was really missing off the Midnight album. Once I'd finished that, I like, even though Bejeweled is quite fun, it wasn't that too upbeat. No. Very girly. Are there any skips for you even now? I didn't like Karma to begin with. I know, and now I'm like, Karma is the day. It's such a bop. Snow on the Beach I also didn't love at the first listen. I had to go back for it just to try and be like, wait, I thought Lana Del Rey was on it. Some people have like reworked it to give Lana a whole verse of her own. If you just like search on YouTube, and it sounds really good, and with like a little bit more production, like slightly rockier production. Like just because it's like a very light song. Probably the point, like Snow on the Beach, that kind of sort of vibe. But with a little bit of oomph, it's actually a really good song. It's not like the standout for me on the album. But I want to ask you, because I asked you to pair this and I'm actually really curious. Out of like Taylor Swift's back catalogue, which of her songs, which is maybe a bit lesser known, are in like your top album or like your top list? It's hard to know what songs of hers are lesser known. You can't say like All Too Well, and you can't say Shake It Off. No one says Shake It Off. Love Story, or like, One song that like I adore but I don't listen to because
it makes me cry every time is what's called Marjorie on Evermore. Because, oh my God.
I've not lost a grandma. Is that where it's come from?
Yeah, I was really close to my nan. And it's like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, this is speaking things I feel like back to me, and it's just so beautiful. Like she says, like, I should have kept every grocery store receipt. I should have asked you to write it down for me. Like I can't even talk about it. It's such a good song, and obviously it's about her losing her grandma, who was called Marjorie. That was like definitely on my ultimate album. I love Evermore. I think I'm an Evermore girl because there's so many songs on that album that I love. And then I also really like I say, some of the From the Vault songs, some of the Fearless From the Vault songs I really like.
Which ones?
That's When. That one is just so good.
I was like, please be Mr. Perfectly Fine.
Oh no,
that a bop.
That is a bop. That is a bop. Yeah, that's a great one. But That's When, which is featuring someone.
Keith Urban,
yes, that's it. That's it. Big fan. It's got that kind of country sort of production, which I really like. And I love Reputation as well. I feel like,
oh my God, yes.
Reputation isn't as well known as, obviously, the singles like Look What You Made Me Do, obviously it's very, very famous, but even like Call It What You Want and some of the more like love songs.
Yeah,
and the more,
I love King of My Heart.
Oh yeah. It's such a good album. I wish I'd gone to the Reputation tour because it looked so much fun.
I got the t-shirt, but I didn't go. I've learnt how long a lot of the albums are from my running, so I was like, oh, this would be the perfect hour run. It's even less than an hour. I was like, what is this? It's such a good get shit done playlist. Like if I want to do some tidying, I'll be like, I'll put on Reputation because it's not that long an album. If you need to run a marathon, then you put on Red Taylor's version because that goes on forever. Yes. It's actually not as long as a marathon, but still it feels like it.
How about you? What is your...
I love all of the really poppy, like hopelessly girly ones that often make it to the bottom of people's lists. Like, you know How You Get the Girl? I think that's 1989. I love that one so much. I think it's because there are so many times I've been like mad at men and I'm like, just listen to this song. Just turn up at my house shaking from the rain and just be like, forgive me, you know what I mean? It feels like a grand gesture song, and she's just asking a guy to do like bare minimum here. To tie that in as well, it took me forever. I think I saw a TikTok kind of like link them together, but you know Betty off of Folklore? I love Betty, but basically it's about James following the advice from How You Get the Girl, because he just like turns up and he's like, I showed up at your party. Oh my God, that song just always puts the biggest smile on my face, like the little harmonica as well.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, I feel like
Folklore
it's good.
Was just a cultural reset, I believe they call it. The One, oh my gosh.
I love The One.
Yeah, but it's hard to know which of her songs aren't well known. Obviously, like the singles are most well known, but she's one of those artists that like there is no filler. There's no filler on an album. There's every single song is even if it's not to my taste, it's a good song.
I don't know. I'm waiting for her to re-release Debut because I don't think I've heard all the songs on that.
Really?
I think I know. Our song is the song. And what else did she have?
Tim McGraw, is that?
Oh yeah, When You Hear Tim McGraw.
Is Teardrops on that one as well?
I was trying to figure that one out. I can't remember if that was Fearless or Debut, but I know that one as well.
Yeah,
I think that is Debut.
I think it's Debut. Yeah.
So I know like
and
those.
Picture to Burn.
Oh my God. Okay, maybe I know a lot more from the Debut than I realised.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not really looking forward to that re-release, but I think it'll be really fun.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it must be so hard for her because obviously she's got a way more mature sound. The only song she's re-recorded, which I think hasn't really matched up to the original so far, is You Belong With Me. It just sounds so much more mature.
Oh, and you don't like that?
No, it just sounds too different. Especially because You Belong With Me was so played.
Well, her voice has changed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think she's improved a lot. Like when you see the kind of performances all stacked together like on a TikTok, her voice is so much better than it used to be.
But I haven't really... It hasn't felt like too different on any other song from the Love Story era or Red, but then, for some reason, You Belong With Me, I'm just like, it doesn't work for me. Every time I hear it, I'm like, I can tell it's the re-release. And also, that song's even not that great. I'm like, I've grown out of it, I feel.
I haven't. I'll never grow out of that song. That is... the music video.
The music video is iconic. Oh my God, how many years did it take for you to realise it was Taylor in a brown wig?
Like, no years.
No years?
The first time I saw it. The girl in the car.
Yeah. Oh my God, I've always been so awful with names and faces, and the fact that it took me years to even discover like it was Taylor Swift. If I ever forget someone's face, it's like I couldn't even tell it's Taylor Swift in a brown wig. It's fine. Oh my God. And then I have to wrap up. I actually want like quick question.
Okay.
I know you've recently gotten out of a relationship. Has that changed the way you listen to Taylor Swift? Has it changed the songs that hit?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That was a dumb question.
Yeah, it has. Like when you go through like heartbreak, the songs they're just as good as they used to be, but they hit different. Pardon the pun. New release? No?
No, what are you saying?
She released a song. What's the song?
Oh, yeah. The one that was on the Walmart or Target CDs.
Yeah, of course. Hits.
Yeah, I haven't really heard it yet. Because I want it on
You
Spotify.
can't find it. Yeah,
I think it's on YouTube or TikTok or something. But I'm like...
It keeps getting taken down though.
Oh, does it?
It's only on that Target release.
Oh my gosh, Taylor, you're so extra.
I know, she is, but we love her.
Yeah, to be fair, that is what we love about her. Okay, well, this has been a real, like, self-indulgent, wonderful podcast. I've had
so much fun. I really have.
But thank you so much for coming back on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
This has been so fun. If anyone's still listening, thank you for joining us. We've really enjoyed it. Please leave a review, rate, like, share, all that love. Thank you so much and have a lovely day. Bye.